Mark, I want to talk to you about channel crossings. We talk about these not-so-small boats, don't we, all the time? Well, get this. For the last 12 days now, we haven't had any crossings at all. So let me just ask you this. Are we at a position now, oh, my pop has just fallen off. Are we in a position now where we've fixed this problem, or have we just had terrible weather? What do you think is going on?
Well, the short answer is no. The Labour government has not fixed this problem. We're at nearly 190,000 unvetted illegal migrants since 2018. We're up nearly, well, about 50,000 since Labour came into power. The use of hotels is up about 8% on the current trend. We're going to have another 180,000 illegal migrants cross over between now and the next general election, which means we're going to be talking about somewhere in the region of 400,000 illegal migrants when we're going into that next general election campaign. Labour's plan is not going to work because they're not dealing with the fundamentals. We're giving too much welfare to people who are breaking our laws. We're incentivising them to come over. Labour are approving the vast majority of asylum claims. They're then putting them in hotels, and if they're not putting them in hotels, they're putting them in HMOs, housing for multiple occupancy, which is being exploited by companies like Serco to outbid the British people in their own housing market while using their own money to do so, and then Labour lectures people about fairness. The whole thing is completely and utterly absurd. It's the #1 issue in the country for good reason. People out there have had enough. They want the borders fixed. They don't want murderers, rapists and terrorists coming into our country and then being put into the heart of our communities by a party, the Labour Party, which claims that it's on the side of working people. It's completely outrageous.
Steve?
Well, I don't think, a bit of respite is very welcome. I don't think that there's any reason to get too excited or to say the problem's solved. This is a huge difficulty. It won't be solved by slogans and glib remarks. It will take some real hard work and effort. I'm sorry if it is inappropriate to say that we didn't invent these problems, but the reality is we did inherit this problem. We inherited the use of asylum hotels. We're trying to develop former military sites as holding centres, which I think people broadly support. It's not true that we're making it easier for people to receive welfare. The reverse is true. We're making it harder. We're making it harder to get interim settlement arrangements. The fundamental problem with the backlog is that, of course, these people weren't processed at all. The people who are in the hotels are people who invariably haven't been processed yet. But my own view, and I know it's not popular and people would like a glib solution, is this does require international cooperation. We've got to do everything in our power to stop it at source, to work with other countries to return people and to make it as unattractive for people to come here as is reasonable if they're simply coming here for economic reasons.
Steve, you inherited a situation that was bad and you made it worse. The numbers went up. They've never been as bad as they are currently under the Labour government. You talk about international agreement. The only thing that is going to fix this crisis at the border are the things that the Labour Party refuse to do. Your one-in, one-out deal with the French, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's not working. You said Rwanda was a gimmick. You created a gimmick that's even worse than Rwanda. The only thing that would solve this crisis. You also, by the way, complain about slogans. Smash the gangs, one of the most ridiculous slogans in British politics, because we can't smash the gangs, we can't stop this invasion until we leave the European Convention on Human Rights, repeal Tony Blair's Human Rights Act, detain and deport everybody who arrives illegally and process them offshore, and strip welfare for people who arrive. And you say you're already doing that. Steve, the first thing your government did, you overturned the Illegal Migration Act. You decriminalised illegal migration. And then you say you're serious about dealing with the problem. It's not true, I'm afraid. You made it easier. You've basically flung open the door.
You've given us a litany of things that you say would make a difference. I mean, the Rwanda scheme was massively expensive. You may not agree with the return scheme for France, but in fact, at least it is sending people back. I think four people went to Rwanda and one was a volunteer, weren't they? It's easy to say this.
McCabe, come on.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
You're talking about this one in, one out. It's become a merry-go-round. One of the fellas that you sent back, he came straight back again.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, the evidence from other countries that tried to use Rwanda schemes was exactly the same thing happened. So, you know, there is a problem with these people. And whether or not you think smash the gangs is not a valid approach, I would say we have seen our first high-profile prosecution in this country of people engaged in that kind of smuggling, and quite a number of people went to jail just a few months ago.
We've seen another few high-profile things too, like the murder of Rhiannon White by the illegal migrant from Sudan who stabbed her in the head 20 times with a screwdriver, or the illegal migrant from Afghanistan who murdered Wayne Broadhurst while he was walking his dog, or I should say allegedly murdered Wayne Broadhurst. All these things, by the way, are on the political class in Westminster that refuses to do what needs to be done to fix our borders. It's not right, Steve, that the British people out there are going to pay £15 billion.
Where is the evidence that the ECHR is the key to this?
Because
where is the evidence?
I'm going to tell you, because you and I both know, as does Yvette Cooper, Shabana Mahmood, Keir Starmer, you all know this. You're not telling this to the British people. You're not saying it. Article 3 and Article 8 of the ECHR are used by activists, lawyers and judges to stop us from doing what Donald Trump is doing in America successfully, which is deporting illegal migrants.
Just tell me this, Matt. How many cases has the ECHR intervened in the last 45 years to overturn a British deportation decision?
We don't need the ECHR.
How many cases? 13 in 45 years. And how many times has the ECHR since 2017 intervened to actually put restraint or an interim measure on a planned deportation?
Too many.
15 out of 660 cases that were referred to. 15 out of 660 cases. Matt, I'm in favour of seeing reform of the ECHR, but I'm not in favour of people fantasising about what's actually going on.
OK, just for clarity, a nice cherry-picking of cases there. Now look at foreign criminals in prisons.
Just a few figures.
No, but classic Labour gaslighting the country. Now do foreign criminals. Now do illegal migrants. You and I both know activists, lawyers use two things. They use the ECHR and they use the HRA to block us from deporting people. The reason Rwanda wouldn't work is the same reason your government won't work on this issue, because our laws are subordinate to the ECHR, Articles 3 and Article 8. You know this. The reason we can't do what Donald Trump is doing in America, which is successfully deporting millions of illegal migrants, that's why border crossings have collapsed. You roll your eyes, but Donald Trump has shown that deportations work. We could do the same if we actually were in control of our own laws.
Well, I'm in favour of legal deportations.
Great. Well, then let's do what we need to do to make it happen, which is regain the supremacy of our own laws by leaving leaving the ECHR.
Well, as I say,
and
I think that's a
overturning
red
Tony Blair's
herring
Human
because the
Rights Act.
figures don't support the argument that you and people who believe in the things that you argue say. The figures just don't support it.
After 1 week of deporting people who we cannot currently deport, the small boat crossings will collapse. It will become apparent that they will not be able to stay.
The ECHR is a British invention by and large, which confers a massive number of rights on British people. I have no desire to take that away from British people in order to fix a problem which has international dimensions.
First of all, your own leader, party founder, heavyweight Clement Attlee, was very clear about this. He would only sign up to the ECHR if it didn't dominate UK law, as did Winston Churchill. He said the same thing. What has happened in the 70 years since, as you know, is the ECHR has become what is called a living instrument. It has expanded, it has grown over time, and it has gradually dominated UK law in a growing number of areas.
And there's probably a perfectly good argument for reviewing it and making changes. No one is disputing that. That is rather different from saying we're going to walk away lock, stock and barrel. Every time we walk away from an international agreement and institution, we become more isolated and we have less friends to help us in this world.
Our friends aren't helping us currently. We're giving the French £500 million for what exactly, Steve? They're not doing anything. Where's all this money going? What are we getting from this international
Well, how much have we had back from Rwanda?
How much?
Where nobody went.
But Labour always say to us, the answer is more Europe. The answer is more cooperation. I'm asking you a serious question.
I haven't said more Europe.
Why?
I said that I think we should not walk away from international agreements and international institutions. We should seek to reform things where they're not working in our favour. I'm quite happy to do that. But actually, the number of cases that the ECHR is dealing with in relation to immigration are so small that it can't possibly be the explanation.
That's literally not true. We have a number...
No, it literally is true.
We have a lot of cases that the Telegraph and others have documented of people, illegal migrants who shouldn't be in our country, who are using the ECHR to remain in our country, to avoid deportation from our country. We need to leave the ECHR. It's the only way we can control our borders.